What is fiduciary risk transfer? First of all, if an employer sponsors a workplace retirement plan, whether it's a 401k or 403b, they become a fiduciary with an incredible amount of personal liability and workplace liability, like professional risk to the business. So I've got good news and bad news. Bad news is you can't not be a fiduciary if you sponsor a plan. I mean, there's no amount of outsourcing or discharging of your fiduciary duties that would allow you to completely remove that liability. And there is no amount of fiduciary insurance that can completely cover you. That's the bad news. The good news is there's a number of ways that you can mitigate or lessen the fiduciary risk. And it's called fiduciary risk transfer. You have the ability to discharge many of the fiduciary duties under ERISA. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So, ERISA, by the way, is the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974. And that's what governs your company retirement plan. Under ERISA 321, you could engage a co-fiduciary to share the liability. It doesn't remove it, it just shares it. Under ERISA 338, you can engage an investment fiduciary. And that's going to mitigate some liability surrounding the selection and monitoring of plan investments. Now, it doesn't remove the risk completely, but it removes quite a bit of the risk. And it doesn't mitigate all other risks not related to investment risk. Under ERISA 316, you can outsource to an administrative fiduciary the legal responsibility of the administration of the plan. And this is a huge deal. And under ERISA 402A, you can discharge the maximum amount of fiduciary protection in what's called a named fiduciary. So someone other than you named as the fiduciary in the plan. Now, a couple of notes about this, a couple of clarifications, especially when it comes to 316. So some service providers will claim to be a 316. They say that they're an administrative fiduciary, although they're not also an ERISA 402A named fiduciary. And honestly, those of us in the industry call this 316 light. I mean, without being the named fiduciary, it doesn't have any teeth. The 316 is almost meaningless if you're not also an ERISA 402A named fiduciary. If you're an employer who sponsors a retirement plan, you want someone other than you named as the fiduciary in the plan document on the Form 5500 with the IRS, with the DOL. You want someone other than you named as the fiduciary. Every plan should consider having all four seats at the table filled: ERISA 321, ERISA 338, ERISA 316, and ERISA 402A. You need to be wise about this and not overpay for it. But if it's done correctly, it can actually be more cost effective and it's a great value. I'll go even further. If it's not done, if you don't discharge the fiduciary duties and it's your seat in the seat rather than someone else as the 321, 338, 316, or 402A, it could be a very expensive mistake. Some employers will wonder if they can afford to discharge these duties. I wonder if you can afford not to, honestly. Again, it shouldn't cost that much. It may even save you money, but to the person who says, "Well, why would I have any flood insurance, even if it's cheap, if I don't live in a floodplain?" To that person, I would say, if you're an employer and you sponsor a workplace retirement plan, you live in a floodplain.